Nintendo seems to really be hyping up this April Nintendo Direct, and of course, why wouldn't they? I mean, considering the fact that the last real Nintendo Direct we got was back in June of 2024, and we really haven't gotten any real big information, including any new game announcements for this year outside of like a Mario Kart coming to Switch 2, and we don't know really anything else about that game. This upcoming Nintendo Direct is probably one of Nintendo's biggest directs of all time. Probably one of their biggest presentations of all time. I don't know if it's quite as big as that Switch presentation back in 2017, because after coming off of the low point of the Wii U, this was an absolute necessity to do well, so that probably was their most important. So I'd say this is probably around their second most important, at least their biggest Nintendo Direct they've ever had. And it's safe to say that it seems like Nintendo knows this. They're not doing anything to announce any other projects or games for Switch 1 or even any other Nintendo Directs. I mean, a lot of rumors were coming out saying that we were going to get some type of February Switch 1 focused Direct, and now a lot of people are going back on their statements saying, oh, it doesn't look like it's happening now. Now, of course, a Nintendo Direct could still happen in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not betting on it, considering the fact that Nintendo also came out during their last investors meeting just to double down on Switch 2's Nintendo Direct. In fact, they tweeted out the date and the time now for the Switch 2 Direct on April 2nd, which is going to be 9 a.m. Eastern. Very early in the morning for a lot of us. But this is around the time where a lot of people actually expected some type of Switch 1 Nintendo Direct announcement, but instead they're just once again referring to the Switch 2 one. Furukawa also talks about the positive reception of that initial Switch 2 reveal trailer and states, "We are grateful that many people around the world have seen the trailer, but since we have only shown the name and shape of the hardware, we believe that we will have to wait until detailed information is released on April 2nd to get a true sense of the reaction. At this point in time, many people are interested, so we will focus on releasing that information, and then have many people actually get their hands on the hardware to convey its appeal." So it seems like Nintendo is fairly confident in this upcoming showcase, and they just keep talking about it. I mean, in fact, if we look at this showcase in general and how early that they've actually announced the thing, this might be the longest gap between announcement of a Nintendo Direct to the actual show. I mean, seriously, think about it. The Switch 2 reveal trailer dropped on January 16th, and we know that the Switch Direct was also announced within the end of that trailer, so we know that the Switch 2 Direct is on April 2nd, which will give us 76 days from announcement to actual release. Now, this is a very long time, but it's still actually the second biggest gap. Well, the biggest for a Nintendo Direct, the second biggest for any presentation, because for the original Nintendo Switch, Nintendo announced on October 27th that there would be a January 13th Nintendo Switch presentation, which was about 78 days compared to the 76 we have to wait now. What's even more interesting though is back then, even in 2016, the year before Nintendo Switch, Nintendo still had Nintendo Directs. They may have skipped June and E3 timeframe, but they still had a March Wii U and 3DS Nintendo Direct, and in September they had a Nintendo 3DS Direct, still right before Switch. And if you look at last year, Nintendo had Directs, but only one of those was an actual general Nintendo Direct. The one in February was a partner showcase, August was a Nintendo Museum Direct, we also had an Indie World Plus partner showcase in August, and we had a Super Nintendo World Direct of all things in November, leaving June as the only Direct, and pretty much everything that was shown off in that June Direct is out already, outside of Metroid Prime 4. So this might be the longest time we've went with hardly any information on games. And by the time of this show, the only games that'll be left is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Pokemon Legends ZA, which is an incredibly empty slate for Nintendo. In fact, it's very unlikely. Normally they have tons of games to still look forward to. Like I said, even back with Switch, there was 3DS games to look forward to before moving on to the Switch. Remember, we also had The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild to look forward to, where we don't have a game like that right now. The closest we have is maybe, Metroid Prime 4 if it's a cross-release, the new Mario Kart, but we've hardly seen anything of either of those games, where Nintendo was greatly showing off Breath of the Wild, even having a whole E3 presentation dedicated to the game itself. We don't have that this time. We also don't have a 3DS. There's no second console. That means Nintendo's going to be exclusively announcing Switch 2 games probably. So naturally, you would think this presentation has to be massive, even bigger than the Switch presentation back in 2017, which if we go back to that presentation, oh my gosh. I mean, it was still my favorite moment to be a Nintendo fan. There were so many exciting reveals. Not only did they go into great detail about the console and how it works, but they also showed off so many games, like our first look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a new version of Mario Kart 8. We also got 1-2 Switch, which, it was a game. Can we even call it a game? We got the brand new IP revealed of ARMS, which has been a very long time since Nintendo revealed a brand new IP like this, since like Splatoon, I believe. And speaking of Splatoon, we did also get our first look at Splatoon 2, which was already a new fresh franchise for Nintendo. We also got the grand reveal of Super Mario Odyssey, the next huge 3D open sandbox Mario game. We got a first look trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and some other third-party games, along with a final look at The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, to be announced as a launch title for the Nintendo Switch. Even though this definitely was an amazing show, there's still other reasons why to be even more excited this time. For one, that Switch reveal trailer showed us a lot more than what we've seen with Switch 2 so far. They showed us the actual console, what it could do, and tons of games running on it, like a lot of those games that were announced during that presentation. Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 2K, Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, all got little sneak peeks during that presentation. Where this time, the only thing that we've seen is Mario Kart. I mean, there is a very good chance we could also have Metroid Prime 4 there day one, but that's not even confirmed. So there's a lot of reason to be excited for new game announcements, and Nintendo could definitely beat out what they did with that Switch 1 presentation. This is about time for so many games. Obviously Mario Kart once again, but the next 3D Mario, which could be on the scale of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom with its massive scope, according to rumors. We could also have a sneak peek at the next Splatoon game. Animal Crossing could have a sneak peek after being so huge on Switch. Smash Brothers could actually be within the Switch 2 reveal. Speaking of Smash, even Sakurai had something to say about that Switch 2 Nintendo Direct reconfirmation tweet the other day by saying wow, or which can better be translated into, oh yeah, really, or huh? So maybe Sakurai does have some type of big game plan for this Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. I mean, after all, he did state on one of his last videos on his YouTube channel that he did have to fill out a proposal for Nintendo on an upcoming new project, and that we would hear about it sooner or later. So maybe it's Smash Brothers, maybe it's like Kid Icarus or something completely different that we're not even expecting. But either way, I'm sure Nintendo has tons of surprises for us that we're not even expecting. Maybe it's time for Luigi's Mansion 4. Maybe it's also time for a brand new Star Fox game or some other type of IP revival. We're just gonna have to wait and find out. I think it's also interesting how Nintendo actually has a website already up for Nintendo Switch 2's Nintendo Direct. Literally just saying Nintendo Direct, Nintendo Switch 2, with the date will air on Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025 at 6 a.m. Pacific, offering a closer look at Nintendo Switch 2. So I think it's safe to say that Nintendo is pretty excited about this thing, probably as much as we are, because they know that the Switch 2 got heavily leaked, and that initial reveal didn't show us anything super new outside of the brand new Mario Kart, because everything else lined up perfectly with the leaks that we've been hearing so many times. So Nintendo's not even really judging audience perception of that initial reveal trailer. It feels like it's just something that they felt like they had to do and had to get out, and they're really looking forward to what's coming in this April Nintendo Direct. I'm just hoping that nothing leaks out, and this time they can actually surprise us with all these new games and new functions of this console. But the way everything is looking right now, I really feel like this is going to be one of Nintendo's biggest presentations of all time. This will for sure be Nintendo's biggest Nintendo Direct ever, probably with the most viewers ever, and you know we're going to be live streaming it. So make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on post notifications so that way you can be updated on all the Switch 2 news until we get there, and of course all the great information that we're going to be getting on that beloved April 2nd date. I can't wait. Man, time needs to go faster. But thank you so much for tuning in. Quick, comment below what your biggest Switch 2 wish would be. Just comment in all caps the word wish, followed by your Switch 2 game wish or function wish, whatever you wish to see during this Direct. Thank you for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.